guys, so I'm still not feeling really good. You can hear my voice, it's not very good. Got absolute stinking cold. What happened this week was that my son moved out. He moved in last year in July for a few weeks and ended up staying over a year. And because we didn't have any room in the house to put him, we ended up putting him in the lounge. So my lounge ended up becoming his bedroom, and so basically I've been kind of living in a bedsit sort of scenario for the last year, and I finally got my lounge back, which is really nice because I actually sat in my lounge. I actually sat, no bed by the window, no desk, no 23-year-old mess. Yeah, no, it's been nice to come back into my lounge. It's really weird. I've really missed it, being able to sit and eat my dinner properly. You know, I mean, I love having my son around, don't get me wrong, but it is really nice to have our lounge back. And like, we got the doggies. See, the doggies have decided this is where they're gonna congregate today. So I have this huge, massive pile of washing that I've been sorting because I've been so busy trying to get the lounge back to the way it was, that I have done no sorting out washing. As you can see, all these piles, they all make sense. Like, this is my daughter's pile, that's my pile, that's my husband's pile. I've got sheets, etc., underwear. This is my son's pile. Now, how did that happen? Not quite sure how this happened, considering he's not here anymore, and I have a ginormous pile of his washing and my ginormous pile of towels. And this is another basket of washing. I think I'm on my 5th basket, I think. Yeah, so like 5 baskets of washing I sorted out today. I've been watching vlogs on YouTube as I sort my washing out. It's something I quite often like to do. If I'm cooking, I quite often watch vlogs. Bit of a hobby, I suppose. I watch all sorts of vlogs, family vlogs, gardening vlogs, all sorts really. Not really fussy. I have a few favourites that I like to watch. I like sort of a few family vlogs which are sort of based on makeup and hair tips as well, and there's just a few different ones I watch. But yeah, so it has been nice to get back in the lounge, and the dogs are obviously loving being on the sofa again. Bless them. They've all been snoring their heads off all morning. I'm off to Cumbria on Saturday, so hopefully we'll get some nice footage watched up there, and hopefully my cold won't be quite as bad. I feel awful today. I ache everywhere, and I can't stop sweating, which is really not attractive. I don't have a particularly fascinating wash tips that I can give you or anything like that. I think I'm like most mums that have kids, even though mine are older, and a husband. You know, I seem to have like so much washing, it's unreal. I do at least 1 or 2 loads a day probably. I try to do at least 1, otherwise it just gets completely mad. But mostly what I do is I just obviously wash my washing. Not very exciting, as you can see. I've just recently upgraded actually, because I had an 8 kilogram wash machine, and it was just seemed to be just doing so much washing. I thought, right, I need to get a bigger wash machine. So I've got a 10 kilogram, this is an Lucy XXL. It's, I really do like this wash machine. It actually does a really good wash. And then all I do, it's not very exciting, so I've got this little sort of, I suppose most people would have these as outhouses, but this is more like an out corridor. I've got my freezer out here, and then I've got this like indoor line. So anyway, I can describe it, so like things that can't really be tumble dried, or things I don't like being tumble dried, I hang up in here because we get a lot of sun in here in this room, and things just dry really well in here. And then I've just got a condensing tumble dryer for everything else, so things that I don't like in tumble dryer go out here, and things that I don't like in tumble dryer get hung out now. I don't use my line outside as much as I probably should, basically because there's quite a big step down into the garden. And as I have fibromyalgia, sometimes my legs are really dodgy, and quite a few times they've actually taken a fall because I can't see where I'm going when I have the basket in my hand, so I can't actually see physically where I'm going. I had a raised temporary step put in. It's like one that you can remove, but it was not weatherproof at all, and it was very slippery on occasion. So I only use my outdoor line obviously if the weather's nice and if my legs don't feel like they might collapse under me, because that's obviously a problem of mine, is I have really weak muscles. I get very, very bad muscle fatigue in my muscles, and so yeah, I don't use my line as often as I probably should. Just spotted an air freshener up here. I don't know why it's up there. I've got all these shoes up high so that when I'm not at home, the dogs can have free run of the kitchen and this utility area without fear of them eating my shoes. Not that they would, because actually they're pretty good. I've never known them chew anything, but you know, you just never know, so I just don't want to give them the opportunity really. So I recently upgraded to this larger chest freezer. I've always had a chest freezer. This is my cat's bowl. I've always had a chest freezer, but due to the allotment, we realised we were probably going to need something a bit bigger. So this is not a full-size double freezer. It's kind of in between. It's a 210 litre. But yeah, I mean, I need room to be able to blanch vegetables, etc. next year. So it was in the sale. I got like £50 off it, I think it was. It was really cheap. And the other freezer is sort of coming to the end of its life. I'm not sure. Will I have a dishcloth in there? I would be surprised if I find my phone in there. Actually, I'm always losing things. So it's really handy. This one's I think this one's a Zanussi as well, you know. Yes, this is a Zanussi. I don't normally buy everything Zanussi, but recently I seem to have. It's got two good sized drawers, which I really love, and random chips everywhere. This is what happens when you have teenagers that make their own food. My 19-year-old, this is, and then it's just got loads of room underneath. As you can see, some bread, got some milk because we're going away. I've tried to stock the freezer up for the kids that are not coming with us. So we've got nearly 18-year-old and a 19-year-old are staying with her. And we've got a Phoebe on the floor. There's little Phoebe. You alright, baby girl? Huh? Yes, are you cooling down? They do like it out here because they like the cold tiles on the floor. It's actually tidier than it normally is because it becomes a bit of a dumping ground. I don't know if anybody else has got like rooms like that, but this is the dumping ground of my husband, who has promised me he's going to sort it out. But yeah, it's not very exciting, I'm afraid. We've got a little Kimmy down there. Hello, Kimmy. Say hello to everybody. Say hi. I'm cute. Yes. That Phoebe's cute. Of course you're cute, Phoebe. We know you're cute, don't we? Yes, we know you're cute. So anyway, not very exciting, I'm afraid. I can't give you any tips and tricks. Just really that, you know, being a disabled person, I try to make things as easy as possible for me. Have you seen this? This is like, I thought I had no air fresheners until my son left, and then suddenly I've got nearly full bottles, so I think my son kept absconding with them. Anyway, yeah, so I haven't really got any tips and tricks for disabled people, except that I think a tumble dryer is a must, especially if you've got kids. Because if it hadn't been for my tumble dryer, I think I'd never get anything done. I mean, there are clothes. I mean, I have cotton t-shirts that have got like stretch in them, you know, like little lycra. I don't tumble dry anything with lycra in, because lycra, it frays, believe it or not, over time when you have a lot of heat on it. So yeah, basically anything with lycra can get wrecked by tumble dryers, so I just don't tumble dry them. I don't tend to tumble dry my jeans because I don't, every time I've tumble dried my jeans in the past, I've shrunk them, and I don't know how. Even on a low heat, I've managed to shrink them, and so I just don't tumble dry them. And then what else don't I tumble dry? My husband's shirts I don't tumble dry. because I like to sort of dry them on the hangers. Makes it easier for him to iron them. That's another thing I don't do. I don't do ironing. I hate ironing. Anything that sort of takes my energy away from other things that I could do, I just don't do. Yeah, you need to organise your time better. You know, you will get physiotherapists and OTs saying pace, 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 pace. Yes, they are right. They are right. But it's very difficult to do that when you've got a family. It's very, very difficult. But the other trouble you have is that you can have what they call boom and bust, which is where you do way too much, which I did yesterday really, and that's probably why I'm hurting so badly today. You do too much and then your body just like will slap you in the face with pain, fatigue or whatever, and it's just it's not really worth it. Well, that's not right either. I mean, it is worth it. If it brings you joy, it's worth it, definitely. My problem is that I don't know when to stop. I'm really bad at pacing. I should pace. I'm sweating again. Do the sweaty thing. I'm really terrible at pacing, and that is part of my problem really. And I need to learn to do it better. And I'm always telling my sister to pace, who's got fibromyalgia as well. Ow! And she's got so I got a sore knee, and that really hurt. And she's got cervical degenerative disease in her neck, and so she's got like discs missing in her neck. She's always in a lot of pain, and I'm always saying to her, you need to pace, and I'm just as bad at not doing it. I'm terrible at not doing it. I suppose because like I did spend a long time where I was bedridden, and so because I was bedridden, I literally gosh, it's like someone's turned the heat up. Can you see this shiny face? It's because I'm sweating like it's this cold. It's terrible. Anyway, what was I saying? See, brain fart again. Yeah, so I'm terrible at not pacing, and terrible at giving the best advice and not actually following it myself. And I know I should. Because I actually don't help myself, because all that happens is I end up with like really bad pain levels. Like I do like a pain scale, like of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, and I quite often end up at like a 9 or a 10 when I'm overdoing things. But and because I'm medicinally intolerant as well, there's actually not a lot of tablets that I can take successfully, and because of my other medical issues to do with my bladder, I can't take heavy duty painkillers at night, because I end up absolute conked out, and that's when accidents happen, which is not great for me really. I don't really want to piss the bed, thanks very much. So I'll end up having very disturbed sleep because I'm in pain. So the sooner this thing gets sorted, the better really. But yeah, so that's the only thing I can say really. I can't really give you tips and tricks about housework and stuff like that. I am quite good about pacing housework. I have like set days for doing everything. That's the only thing I was really quite strict about. Like I'll sweep the stairs on a Tuesday and a Thursday. I do sweep every day because we've got multiple amounts of animals. You know, we've got 4 cats, 4 dogs, and that's a lot of hair. And so I do sweep every day, but I don't hoover, because I find hoovering more tiring than sweeping. I've got like a really soft brush, and I can actually do the whole of the downstairs in like 10 minutes, if that, because I've got like quite a wide brush as well, and it's all hard floors, so I've got no carpets. I haven't even got a carpet on the stairs at the moment, because we've sort of held off, because I would find hoovering the stairs really difficult. And also the other thing is as well, we've got the stair lift, and a carpet fitter would charge us a fortune to fit the carpet around the stair lift, and the only other way to do it is have the stair lift taken out, have the carpet fitted, and then have the stair lift put back in, and that will cost an absolute fortune, because it's a day's work for a stair lift installer, and they charge like by the hour, and it's like, I looked into it, it's like massively a lot of money. So we've kind of put with having no carpet on the stairs, to be honest. We have thought about getting carpet runs for down the middle, something we're going to be looking into next year, because we've just got so many things we want to do to the house, like you know, redecorate and things like that, and it all costs money, obviously. Yeah, so I mean, with regards to housework, I am quite strict. I mop the floors sort of every 3 days, I suppose, because I'm quite strict about people coming in with dirty shoes and things like that. And the dogs, you know, if they get wet or muddy, they get dried off outside before they come in, and if they're dirty or muddy, they go straight up into the shower. I find that I don't need to mop more than that, every 3 days really. It depends really. In the winter, I probably will mop every 2 days because it's a bit difficult when it's more wet outside and muddy outside. But in the summer, I probably mop less. I am a bit of a serial. I'm like really into like germ free like floors. I use 3 disinfectants in my mop bucket. I'm probably a bit OTT, but I use bleach, a lemon one, because I like lemon smell for some reason. Then I'll use a cleaner like Flash, so I'll have a squirt Flash, and then I like Zaflora because it's a really strong smelling disinfectant. It's got like really pretty smells to it, and I find I don't find the Flash. I haven't found one cleaner yet that I really like the smell of. So I'll just put bleach, Flash, and then I get a small bottle from Zaflora once a week from the pound shop, and I put probably half a bottle in each bucket, and then I'll mop all downstairs, and then the stairs get mopped once a week as well. But that can be quite, sometimes I might have to split it. It depends on how I feel, because sometimes I can do the whole of the downstairs if I'm having a good day, and then if I'm having a bad day, I just can't do it. I have to do like a room at a time, which is very frustrating because I just want to get it done. But you know, you just got to go with what your body says really. But if I'm having a good week, then I can get it all done downstairs. And because I'm so religious about keeping the floors clean, it's an easy job anyway. It's not difficult. And I find my floors aren't filthy or dirty or anything anyway. Because I bleach everything, and I use a really good floor cleaner, so it really gets it up. You know, and gets it quite sparkly clean. And because everybody wears sort of slippers and things as well in the house, except for my 19-year-old who's terrible at not wearing slippers, but never mind. You know, we all tend to wear things on our feet all the time. So the floor stays pretty clean, so it actually makes it less work for me anyway. I think the kitchen's probably the only place that gets dirtiest, and that's more because I'm always spilling things, because I'm such a butterfingers and I'm always spilling things. But I tend to mop as I go. You know, if I spill it, I mop it. If I notice something like a mark or something, I'll get the mop and I clean it. I've always got like a mop on the go, I call it. So there's always like a bucket, like a fresh bucket of something, you know, whether it's bleach or floor cleaner or whatever, just so that I've always got a, you know, something I can literally just grab the mop and go clean and everything. So that's like fresh every day. So yeah, it is, I suppose breaking up your housework is an important thing when you're disabled. I don't normally let my washing get that bad. I normally would do like a basket and then I would sort it out. But I don't know, because I've not been very well as well with a cold, and I just like and then getting ready for holiday as well. I've just been so busy trying to organise everything, and then trying to organise the lounge. I don't normally let it get that bad. And also the other thing I wanted to do was make sure I'd done everything before I go on holiday. So I like to make sure all the girls' washing's done, particularly my daughter, because she's my nearly 18-year-old, because she's got EDS, which is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is part of that issue with that, is that she gets she subluxes her joints and things, and she has a lot of pain in her pelvis at the moment, so she struggles to like bend down and things. So washing whilst we're away is going to be definitely would be difficult for her. So I'm just trying to make sure everyone's washing's done, it's all dry, and they've all got it. And then I know that when I'm away, I haven't got to worry about not having underwear. So yeah, my other daughter's going to be here, and my son's going to pop in and make sure she's got everything she needs if she needs anything. So yeah, so we're a right sort lot in this house. I tell you, we're like the house is just full of people with problems. Like the only healthy one really is the 19-year-old. I mean, my husband's got rheumatoid arthritis, and then got my daughter with her issues as well, and my son's got a disorder um, which causes intense pain due to nerve issues, and he's got chronic fatigue. But he's a teacher, so he sort of deals with his quite well. Actually, he's still in a period of adjustment with it all, but he, you know, so but it is, I think, genetic issue on my side of the family, because a lot of my family have got issues. And I had genetic testing years ago, and they all sort of came back and said that, you know, my family were more predisposed to these issues. So unfortunately I got really crappy genes, and not just on my mum's side of the family but on my dad's side of the family as well, because you've got osteoarthritis on his side of the family, and they all had the cervical disc issues, which my sister unfortunately inherited, and I have been checked for but luckily haven't got. So yeah, on both sides of my family there are issues. My grandfather had issues, and I know that on my ex-husband's side of the family as well there's issues. So, you know, my kids sort of have been getting it from all angles with genetics, unfortunately. So yeah, it's not been great for us really, health wise. But that's why we just try and get on with things as best as we can, live life as best we can. So, and hopefully we can share that with you a bit. Yeah, so I haven't got any so I'm sorry I haven't got any massive tips really. Just do whatever you can to make your life easier. The other thing I got was the dishwasher, because I used to take 3 hours to wash the dishes, because literally I'd had to take breaks every 2 seconds, because I couldn't stand. It was when I was really poorly. I couldn't stand for very long at the sink. Oh, it's a nightmare, and I couldn't wash the dishes very well. I just would get so tired, and I feel dizzy when I was stood up all the time. So the first thing I bought was, I had a countertop one because I didn't have room where I was living at the time. And then when I moved in here first, this is before I was with my husband, Mr. Hunky, I had a slimline one. And then when Mr. Hunky moved in with his niece, because we raised his niece, who's 90, I call her my daughter because I've been raising her since she was very young. We upgraded to a full-size dishwasher. It did mean we lost a cupboard in the kitchen to make room for it, but it is a lifesaver really. There's no way I could stand there washing dishes. Oh, what a nightmare. I've actually had my dishwasher die on me, and I've literally ordered one to come the next day because I just knew I couldn't cope. And I have lots of tools and gadgets to help make life easier in the kitchen, you know, for cutting things. I've got special knives that are amazing, very, very sharp knives, so it makes it easier for cutting. My next thing on my wish list is a gadget called the Nicer Dicer. I've seen it on JML loads of times, and I've got to get one of those for when I do all my veggies and stuff, because I can then dice onions and slice beans and all that. And so that's my next gadget on my list to have. I hope it was okay, just rabbiting on at you, and I hope you all have a great day. Obviously, see you later.